Hey guys, welcome back to It's Not About Your Hair, where we talk all things hair, heart, and happiness. On today's episode, it is episode 7. I thought we would go over my favorite book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. As everyone's planning for their New Year's resolution, let's just resolve to be kinder, better, and more thought-provoking people. One of the most profound things I've learned in my life is that it's actually not about my hair at all. I've spent a lifetime trying to cover up who I am. And as much as I love a good external transformation, and I do, I much more love a heart transformation. Join me as I share how I work to heal my heart, find happiness, and embrace our hair. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 7. God dang it, how did we get here? Of It's Not About Your Hair, where we talk all things hair, heart, and happiness. Oh my goodness sakes, you've made it. Okay, we're the day after Christmas. I hope you're tuning in at that time. And I just wanted to check in on you. How did it go? If you didn't listen to last week's episode, we talked about stress, chaos, and kooky cousins. And I'm curious. Did you find a little extra grace for your kooky cousin this year? Or did you discover that you're the quacko at the party? And if so, how did that go? Were you able to shift your perspective a little bit this year? Were you able to find something you were grateful for? And if not, are you just grateful it's all god darn over like my husband and you're ready to move on to the rest of the year? Either way, I'm glad you're here. I'm Casey, and we're going to talk about so many different things on this podcast. Last week, like I said, we talked about kind of overcoming perspectives, going through a holiday, and all of what I talk about is things I've learned on the journey of life, what I like to share. The reason it's called It's Not About Your Hair, remember, is because how I thought about my hair shaped how I thought about myself, and all of these little narratives or nuggets or stories that we pick up along the way, that we talk about, that someone says to us, only hurt more when we repeat them to ourselves for years and years and years. Example, when I was in the 4th grade, someone said, "It looks like you got your finger caught in an electrical socket." Do you know that I never, ever, ever wanted to wear my hair curly again until I was almost 30? Definitely not on purpose, not for a family picture, and nowhere important was I wearing my hair curly. I did not want to get wet. I did not want to do anything because even though someone said that one time to me in 4th grade, I repeated it for the next 20 years. Every time I looked at myself in the mirror. So this podcast is about perspective shifting and just sharing information and sharing stories and helping us along the way. I'm an external processor. So for me, talking helps me to remember where I've been, what I've been through. It grounds me and allows me to filter out my thinking. And I love sharing what God has done in my life. I also love just sharing how we overcome thinking and all of these things. So that's why I started this podcast. I'm glad you're here. Today, December 26th, lots of people are setting New Year's resolutions. You know, you've done the year, we're getting close to New Year's. And I wanted to share one of my biggest life-changing books that I've ever read. And I wanted to just, maybe it would be something that could help you too. And they have an adult version and a kid's version. So if you follow me on TikTok, I have a TikTok shop and I only have 3 things in it, I think. And it's this book and the kids version because I don't know what to sell on there. And I'm not really there to sell stuff, I don't think. I don't know why I'm there, to share curly hair transformations mostly. But I wanted to get this book out there. And so with no further ado, if you're watching this podcast, it is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Powerful Lessons in Personal Change. Stephen Covey. This book has been around for, I think, 30 plus years. I don't know the year. And they have one that my kids have read. I'm still trying to get my little Sadie to finish it, but Seven Habits of a Highly Effective Teen. It's powerful, you guys, because so many of us are walking through life not realizing what we're thinking, not even aware, because we're so consumed with our phones that we're staring all the time at other people's business. And it's not even their real business, it's just business. And we're comparing ourselves, and we don't allow enough time to slow down, to read a book, to process things that we're thinking, and we just layer them on. So that's what this is about, is peeling back the layers to find our authentic self, to discover what we're really looking for. And if you can help your kids do some of the work, you guys, so that they're not where we're at trying to do the work, woo! So 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Teen. Here's the thing you could catch from that one too, if you wanted to read it together. If you're a mom or a mama and you have 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grader, buy that book, read it together. They're going to think you're dorky at first. They're going to want nothing to do with you, I guarantee it. And don't push it. Read 2, 3, 4 pages a day. Sit down together and do that. It will change your world. And it will give them something different to think about besides Nike Blazers. Okay? I promise. So anyways, I read this book, I think maybe 10, 12 years ago. And I loved it so much at the time. I owned a big salon. I bought it for my whole staff because that's what I do. That's why I started this podcast, because not everyone wants to listen to my nonsense, you guys. But every time I learn something, I want to share it. And so I bought it for my whole staff, but they're not all readers. They didn't all want to read it, but I didn't know that because I was young. And so the podcast gives me the opportunity to ramble on. And if you want to listen, you can, but I'm not injecting this to anyone. It's if you want to be here. So this book changed my life, because it's all about paradigm shifts or glasses or lenses. It's about having some practical skills to rework our thinking and helping us to see that the way we see things isn't the only way to see them. I think this book is amazing. You can listen to it too. I think it's free maybe on, I don't know. Look it up on wherever you listen to podcasts. I think you may be able to listen to chapters for free if you're an Audible learner. But it's so good. And one of the things that I really loved about it, I'll tell you, the chapter here is the way we see the problem is the problem. Isn't that what we've been talking about? The way we see the problem is the problem. Perspective, what we're looking at. This book helped me to develop some different ways of thinking. And the opening chapter, you guys, this is going to sound a little bit scary maybe, but the opening chapter, this is a book you do, not just read. Super important. So there's a call to action, questions, things to contemplate. And I love books like that. I'm a deep thinker, so I want to do the work. If you read it, that's fine. If you listen to it, it's fine. But if you do the work, you're going to get more. The first chapter asked us to write our eulogy, to think about the people who would be at our funeral, to wonder what they would know that we thought about them. What would be some of the big takeaways from that? And that's hard to do. No one wants to think about death, yet it's an experience that we're all going to share. And at that time, I believe, so if that was 10, 11, 12 years ago, maybe 10 years, say it's 10 years ago, I had a 13-year-old, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. Holy smokes. And I remember reading that. I'm going to cry because I'm a crier, you guys. It's just what I do. I remember reading that and trying to write my eulogy. And at that time, so 10 years ago, I would have been 33. I think the 30s are an interesting time. I was still trying to prove myself. I hadn't yet become my authentic self. I was on the way, because we're always on the way. But I was scaling my business. I was growing. I had lost some of my business stuff already. But, you know, as we talked about earlier, and we'll dive more into it, but my childhood, I was less than lovely to myself, to others, and got pregnant young at 19 and just was trying to prove myself the rest of the time that I was worthy, that I was good enough, that could be successful. And so all of my stuff was built around this fake measure of success. If I only had a bigger salon, if I only had enough clients, if I only had this, drove this kind of car, had this kind of house, if my kids had things I didn't have. But what I didn't realize is that by giving too much of myself, I had nothing left to give the people who mattered the most. So when I started to really think about this process of, would the people that mattered the most to me know that they mattered the most to me if my life was over? And I could honestly answer at that time, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, they wouldn't. I was burnt out and burnt up. I was exhausted and tired when I got home from work. I had 3 young kids. I was homeschooling as well at the time, and just trying to prove that I could be all things to all people. I was trying to scale my business. I was obsessed with the whole hustle culture. I was trying to prove to myself that I was good enough, but I didn't believe it in myself. And so I was spinning too much. And a lot of times the people who mattered most to me, my husband, my kids, my family, my friends, I didn't have anything left to give them. And I was always tired and ornery and trying to read the next book or take the next class on how to be a better human. And all the while never taking time to slow down. And one of the things that was in the chapter said, there's so much to do and there's never enough time. I feel pressured and hassled all day, every day, 7 days a week. I've attended time management seminars and I've tried half a dozen different planning systems. They've helped some, but I still don't feel like I'm living a happy, productive, peaceful life, and I want that. I highlighted that. If you're looking, you can see that I highlighted that. And I think that that is where so many of us are at. We're chasing after the wrong things. We're hustling. We live in this hustle culture where they tell us that's what we need to do. And I'm a 23-year entrepreneur, you guys. I'm a hustler. I love entrepreneurship. I love brainstorming. I love building things. Sometimes I don't even realize that I am successful at the measure of what I want to be successful, you guys, that I've done it. But for years, I was chasing after the wrong thing, climbing the wrong ladder. And this book helped me realize that I had climbed all the way up this ladder to look around and realize from that vantage point, a new lens, you guys, that I didn't want what I had. I didn't want it. I didn't want to be busy every minute of the day. I didn't want to have to run everywhere. And the most humbling thing I've ever had to do, you guys, is walk back down a ladder while people are watching. Especially a ladder because when you're up high, people look up to you. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought, look at, in my mind, I believed that I was showing my daughters that they could do anything they wanted, that they could overcome any of the stereotypes around them, that they could be more. But what I was actually showing them is that you have to give everything you are to prove that you're worth it and have nothing left to give. I'm sorry. And that was the day that changed my life. Because there's also a little spot in here that says, whenever you say yes to something or someone, you're saying no to someone or something else. And they asked us to fill in the blank. Who was that? And for me, I instantly saw my family. And I realized that by working so hard to grow something, and here is the truth, and it's not right or wrong depending on where you're at in business or life. And I want to be a good business owner. And I want to honor the people that work for me and around me. But I was giving more to the people who worked for me than I was to my family. And at the end of my life, like I'm talking about this 12 years later, none of those people work for me anymore. I don't even own that salon. None of them are going to be there in my final days. I don't even know if any of them would show up to my funeral. And it's not about that, but it really is. We live in such a bent perspective on what's important because we think chasing after some idealistic measure of success, we're going to gain it. And this idea, they've all helped me in some ways, back to the book, you guys, but I still don't feel like I'm living the happy, productive, peaceful life I want. I now am happier than I have ever been in my whole gal dang life. Some of this I think only can come with the journey. So I can share what I've learned and give you some tips and tricks, and you can read these books and maybe get there faster. But some of it is just life and experience, you guys. I tell my kids that a lot. Sometimes we have to go through all the experiences of life in order to get where we're trying to head. Sometimes things have to be hard so that we have a lens to look back and say that this is easy now or whatever. But for me, climbing back down that ladder, learning to say no to the pressures of other people and not worrying what people would think about me if I said, no, I can't go to that downtown business owners meeting, because I used to say, well, if I don't go to that, everyone's going to think I'm a bad business owner. But if I go to it and I miss my kid's dance recital, what's my kid going to think? What's the long-term objective in some of these things? Or what if I don't even have anything to do, but I just know in myself that I need rest? Because I too am important. Self-care doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It means that I know that I matter too, right, you guys? So I think sometimes in the world we live in, we don't give ourselves permission to say, I'm going to stay home and take a bath. I'm going to stay home and check out. Sometimes I tell my kids, at this stage in my life, I've learned, and my kids are older, and so there is a relativeness to that too, you guys. I have to honor that. If you have little kids, you're in it. If you have kids under the age of 5, you're in it. As your kids get older, there's a little bit more freedom. It's different. I'm not going to say it's better. I refuse to say it's better. It's different. It's mentally something different. But it is different in the sense that you don't have to have fingers under the door when you're trying to take a bath. Or you can say, listen, I need you, unless it's an emergency, to give me 1 hour. A 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old cannot understand that. But a 13-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 23-year-old, they can understand it. Whether they honor it, I don't know. But giving yourself permission to take a time out is so important. So we're moving into what's next. What do you want? And how do you get there? And so I'm going to do some really fun tips and tricks. I think we're going to move forward. This week, it's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Get it? I want to hear what you think about it. I want to know if it changed your life like it changed mine. And I will. That's all. That's all today. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about vision boarding, which is my favorite darn thing to do. And it helps you to recognize what you've done with your time. That'll be our next episode. So I hope you'll come back for that. And today, I want to thank you for taking the time to shift your perspective, to think more kindly of yourself and others. And I want you to know, like we say every week, if you're not fine, you are going to be fine. You are beautiful. You are worthy of love. And I'm so happy that you're here. I guess this is where I ask you to subscribe to my channel, to follow me on social, and to listen wherever podcasts can be found. And join me every Tuesday at 2 as we unpack how to heal your hair, your heart, and your happiness.